Well, there's something magical about a walk on a beach. I was walking with my mate Luca last year or the year before, and I says to him, we're walking barefoot on a beach, and I said, we're walking across an energy field. I says, because every grain of sand was once a mountain or a boulder, or, you know, a part of a cliff face or something that's collapsed and it's been ground down to a particle. But it's been ground down by energy, basic geology, time and pressure. So it holds that energy. My belief is this is an energy blanket. The reason I say it is because when you finish walking on a beach, you always feel better, don't you? You feel better when you walk barefoot on a beach because the energy's coming right up through the soles of your feet and through your whole body. That's what I believe, and that's what I like to believe. I don't need any proof. I don't need anyone to prove it or disprove it. That's what I believe, that's what I want to believe. So it makes me feel better. And there's the little remains of a little harbour porpoise, sadly. Look at this little guy. I'm saying he's a harbour porpoise, he's about the size of one. I don't think he's a baby dolphin, but I'd say he's definitely a harbour porpoise. He's about 4.5 feet long, I would reckon. But the gulls have been pecking at him. Yeah. His rib cage there. Big skull. And the teeth. Serrated teeth. Yep. It's unfortunate. You find a lot of stuff on beaches. Animals perish, mammals perish, birds perish. That's just the cycle of life. But this is a beautiful bay. And as I say, walking bare feet over the soft sand, the coarse sand, and then even over the pebbles and up through the macar grass. All this grassland's protected. It's called macar. It only grows on sand dunes. It's a unique grassland habitat. And it just looks like grass, but it is actually a protected habitat. Found a lot of wildlife today, a lot of birds' nests, a lot of ground nesting birds. Meadow pipits, lapwing. Lapwing's got a few names, they're green plovers, but people call them lapwings or peewits. There's something else over there that looks like a rib cage as well from another marine life. I see some bone lying around. It looks like bone from here. If you start to find a few, then you would maybe be concerned and say there's something going on here. It could be trawlers or stuff. That's definitely some type of larger animal. I don't know what it is, but we'll find out. Could be a sheep or a deer carcass, but I don't know. It looks kind of like a sheep, perhaps. It's certainly not a marine animal. That's a sheep, isn't it? That's a sheep. There's a shoe. There's a sheep, there's a skull. Is it? There's a jawbone. It's a sheep. I thought it might be another porpoise. You find all sorts. That sheep could have came from here, it could have came from anywhere, it could have came from any other island or coastline. You just don't know. But that's the macar grass. The macar's pretty incredible habitat. And these sand dunes, the tide rolls in here. It's a very shallow bay, and it collapses in on itself repeatedly. Now I would be thinking at this stage that I would be looking at preserving it somehow with wooden stabs or something, but apparently it's not in the plans. So it keeps collapsing in itself, and it's a shame because it's getting washed away and the bays are getting bigger and these islands are getting smaller. I would be looking at a bit of preventative measures, but that doesn't seem to be any concern to the Scottish Government. Probably because it doesn't generate a profit at the end of the exercise. What's this? It's a log, but it's an unusual log. Look, looks like an animal. It is just a piece of unusual looking timber. I don't know what it is. I was in for a swim earlier. Very refreshing. You see the sand here? You see how pure it is? The tides, I'd say it's on the way back. It's rolling back. So low water mark, there's razor clam beds here. And on those rocks, there's a huge volume of clams. There's whelks and there's big clams. Limpets, lot of limpets. They're good eating. Good source of protein, tasty. Look how clear this water is. Absolutely beautiful water. Everything about this area is just fantastic. It's a really unique habitat. I mean, look at that sunset. And this bay is, it's probably 2 miles long. 2.5 miles. There's nobody here. There's been nobody on it all day long. Got it to myself. Beautiful. Good place for seeing basking sharks. You get a lot of basking sharks, you get whales, fin whales, humpbacks, minkies, all sorts, but it's great potential to see basking sharks, especially now. They're starting to kind of move into the shallows, so I'll be watching for them. Well, this is just a wee video of interest to show you some beautiful scenery and my theory on that these beaches, this is an energy carpet. It's just a carpet of energy. That's my take on it. And as I say, nobody has to agree. You know, it's just what I think. It's only my take on it. But it makes me feel better without doing anything else. Just by walking on it and letting it come up through. You're using muscles and sinew and tendons in your feet that when you're wearing trainers all the time, your feet don't normally get to use all those things because the trainer is the protection, or the shoe is the protection, and it's a much more rigid platform. When your feet are allowed to use the natural contours and follow the ground contour, and you start to walk differently. That's how you can sometimes feel tired after a long walk in your bare feet, because you're using all sorts of other muscles and tendons and bits and bobs of your legs and feet and shins that you don't normally. And you your foot placement changes because you have to be more aware of where you're putting your feet. So there's more energy used. You're using all your senses by walking bare feet. Grounding, people call it grounding, which is what it is. And it's always worth doing it. Even once a week, just go out and do a bit of grounding. Find a big bay or a nice field and walk right across it. You know, do it for an hour and just absorb that energy right out of the ground. What is the you know, what we walk on? This is just a big field of energy, isn't it? Let's be honest. That's my tuppence worth anyway. So I've caught a bit of sun, caught a bit of good rays, vitamin D, who knows. Anyway, there you go. Enjoy that for a view.